5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I believe I am now live on the YouTube space. YouTube Live, Dan Salem, live on BuzzChomp. We are going to be talking NFL free agency. Let me go dual cast action and go live on Facebook Live. 2, 3, 2, 1. Bam. Hello, hello, hello. All right, everybody. I'm Dan Salem. I am live. YouTube, BuzzChomp, YouTube channel. I will tweet that in 2 shakes. At the Dan Salem on Facebook mentions, Facebook Live, my Facebook fan page. Oh, there's so much great NFL free agency action going on. The biggest story for me, outside of a couple of deals which I will talk about, all of these former stars, some future Hall of Famers, still no home. Still no home. They need a home. They can't play without a home. Who's going to be a taker? I got AP, Adrian Peterson, the main image for this live stream because I think he's the sweetest deal available, and he's still available. No one signed AP. All right, let me tweet. Let me do the logistical action. Tweeting from at the Dan Salem on Twitter, and I'm about to retweet this beast on BuzzChomp. That's it with 1 extra Z, 3 Z's on the Twitter for BuzzChomp. Because we're live. It's NFL free agency, baby. Okay, so NFL free agency. I wrote on BuzzChomp.com last week, right before free agency started, breaking news, New York Jets do absolutely nothing. And thankfully, they did the one thing that I actually asked that they would do in my writing piece on BuzzChomp.com, and that is go after the offensive line. They did basically nothing, except they re-signed one of their own linemen, and they signed a free agent lineman and a kicker, which was kind of weird, and I don't really think that you really care to hear me talk about a kicker. So, yay for my Jets because we're rebuilding. They didn't waste money. I have to talk about, for a shake, Brock Osweiler getting shipped to Cleveland. Basically, the Cleveland Browns paid the Texans for 2 draft picks and Brock Osweiler. So they just dumped him because the Browns may cut him. Maybe they'll keep him. I think that they should keep him and let him play at their quarterback, because even if they draft a quarterback this draft, let him learn on the bench behind a experienced veteran. I mean, Osweiler's been through adversity. He's played really well, won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos. He led his team to the playoffs last season despite getting benched in the process. Then he won a playoff game, and then they got eliminated, so that happens for everybody but one team. I don't hate Brock Osweiler, so if he gets cut, I really want my Jets to snatch him up because he'll come cheap because the Browns are covering most of his $16 million salary. He's not a $16 million quarterback, but he's better than some of the other QBs on the market, which I will get to momentarily. But right now, he's a Cleveland Brown. The Patriots traded for Brandon Cooks, wide receiver from the Saints, which was kind of awesome. I mean, they just stole the day with that trade. I don't know how you work trades. Todd and I, my brother, have debated on NFL Spin Zone. Today we put up the best player acquisitions, the best deals. We did a March Madness style bracket on Spin Zone about the best player deals. And tomorrow we're going to have a March Madness style bracket about the best moves of the offseason by teams. And Osweiler's on there, Cook's on there, Jay Cutler's on there. He's an available free agent, whether or not he'll play, because that was just, I mean, they need to move on from him. In Chicago, they're rebuilding also. Why lose with Cutler? You can lose with somebody else. Some great moves. Most recently, Eddie Lacy joined the Seattle Seahawks, which is a solid addition by them, and in favor of the young. Which brings me to the topic of the day, because if you're an NFL fan, you're following who gets signed, correct? You're paying attention to who's been signed by teams and the big names. But you've also been wondering, wait, did this guy get signed? Did this guy get signed? Because you know Tony Romo is more or less out there. You know Jay Cutler's out there. You know Adrian Peterson's out there. You know Jamal Charles is out there. You know Darrelle Revis is out there. There are a lot of names, big names. Some of those are Hall of Famers without a home. Where are they going to go? Now, Seattle signed Eddie Lacy, so I guess that's out of the running for Adrian Peterson. If Peterson wants to, so the problem with these guys later in their career, they want to win a Super Bowl, right? AP wants to win a Super Bowl. He could find himself in Houston or Denver, but they have running backs, so it's not like they need a back. He had surfaced saying, I want to play there earlier in the offseason. Now, the Giants already made a big splash with the wide receivers, but they haven't done much in the running back front. And if he's out of options, I could see AP signing lowball to go play in New York and try to win one final Super Bowl with Eli and Brandon Marshall. Talk about winning the offseason for the Giants. Of course, the team that wins the offseason doesn't normally win anything. So, yeah. I could see him in the Giants. There are not many other contenders that really need a running back. Like serious contenders. I mean, playoff teams from a season ago. I mean, maybe the Carolina Panthers, they could reinvent themselves. He could be fun on the Falcons, but they still got a couple of their guys. So he's going to land somewhere. I mean, maybe Kansas City already shed their older running back. Why are they going to sign another? They won't. I mean, I guess it's really, do you want to play, or do you want to win a Super Bowl, or do you really care anymore? That's the question they're going to have to answer. Because someone would sign him. It's just whether that team actually has a shot at winning anything at all. Other free agents, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I have a feeling he'll be a backup somewhere, but wow, I mean, I'm kind of surprised no one just signed him as their backup. I guess he just played so terribly for my Jets that nobody wants him. Darrelle Revis will get signed, but I think they're waiting for his legal stuff to clear, which is probably end of this week, next week. That stuff will blow over. They'll figure out what's the deal, and Revis will find himself a home because he has a lot to teach off the bench. I don't know if he's a starter in this league anymore, but I mean, it's still a name. You can sell tickets with Darrelle Revis on your squad. Who else we got? That's that kicker. Why do I want to see this by position? By position. Let's look at the quarterbacks. Oh, I don't know if it works that way. This sorting tool is not being my friend right now. Okay. Fair enough. Sort. You don't like to sort. Come on. Okay. So most of these wide receivers have signed, but there's a few names still available. Steve Johnson's available. Michael Floyd still available. Marcus Easley, James Wright. These guys are going to be around for a while. They're not getting picked up anytime soon because all the big name receivers, they're gone. They're just gone. There's a couple of tight ends kicking around too. Jared Cook comes to mind. That's about it. So a lot of players have signed, right? But as soon as you dig a little deeper, you see D'Angelo Williams, running back, is available. Kerry Robinson is available. I liked the potential of him. He's been very hurt. Adrian Peterson, available. Apparently Oakland, Minnesota have expressed interest. Oakland's interesting because they really are onto something, and I think they cut they cut one of their guys. Christine Michael is still available. He had shown flashes in Seattle. Jamal Charles, like I said, LeGarrette Blount, who did well on New England last year. Oakland's the main piece of the puzzle. They kind of got their pick here right now. Now, I love Adrian Peterson, but Jamal Charles is a year younger. So I guess he's got lingering knee issues. Maybe AP is the better option. But I like Christine Michael personally. He's only in his fourth season. Was he in Green Bay last year? I thought he was in Seattle before that, apparently. But these guys, it's just interesting, like how many people have signed, like, and then who hasn't. Like, I'm surprised Eddie Lacy got signed before Adrian Peterson, because Adrian Peterson, like, he has pedigree. Now, I understand the youth thing, and maybe you want a certain type of player to complement your running style. See, that's what Seattle was going for. But I love AP, and he has returned from injury so successfully. He's got one more stellar season left in him. I know he does. It might not be all 16 games, but if you get 10 to 12, that's money. As for quarterbacks, Jay Cutler is available, Ryan Fitzpatrick's available, Robert Griffin III is available, Colin Kaepernick's available, Josh McCown's available, Tony Romo's available, Geno Smith's available. Too many Jets on this list. I take offense to the available quarterbacks. But okay, so as the Jets fan in the building, the only one, because none of you guys are Jets fans, I'm sure. Maybe you are. We want to sign a veteran to help mentor, mature Hackenberg, Bryce Petty. I want to see what Hackenberg can do. I think but he needs to still be in a low pressure situation because the media is so hard on him. I don't want Jay Cutler though. Obviously Ryan Fitzpatrick, no thank you. I don't know what RG3 has learned a lot of lessons. I don't really know if he's got any sort of reliability. Colin Kaepernick is interesting to me because the Jets are rumored to be going to be playing a West Coast offense. He comes from a West Coast system. He would do well in New York. He has a lot to prove. He's got some versatility. He adds a dimension to the offense that the Jets' offense has never really had. Geno Smith kind of pushed that envelope, but not really. I mean, the Jets are rebuilding, so they're not going to get someone that's going to. Kaepernick has a high ceiling. I guess I'll put it that way. I feel like Kaepernick has a high ceiling because we don't quite know what we're going to get from him, especially in a fresh start. Josh McCown, he's played 14 years. We know what we're getting from him. He's a stopgap player. He would do pretty well, but he's not going to wow you. He's just going to hold the ball and control the clock and do things. He's like a Fitzpatrick, but less picks because everybody's going to throw less picks than Fitzpatrick did last season. It's almost impossible to throw as many. And then there's Tony Romo, who does not. He's not going to play for the Jets. The Jets shouldn't spend money on Romo. The Texans need a quarterback big time. Geno Smith's an interesting player because I think he could be an excellent second-string quarterback. He would really push the envelope for first-string duties. He showed really nice flashes. It was a terrible situation for him in New York, and he just never meshed and never fit in. But he's a good backup. He can come in a pinch. So he's a good backup for one of these teams. I think he'll get signed pretty quickly, except for the fact that he's overcoming a knee injury that may or may not have him back by the beginning of the season. So then why would you sign him? I just talked myself out of Geno Smith. Josh McCown, and we'll find a home. I would like the Jets to get maybe the likes of Kaepernick on a low money deal, not spend big, but just you got to spend something. They need something. Now let's see who else is available. It does not. So it's not for that. It's for different purposes. Answering questions. Not your questions. Okay. What else we got here for the free agency? So this is the fun part, right? Because your team, as a Jets fan, correct? I would really love if they at least made one signing of note. Now the offensive line signings are excellent. They needed to secure the offensive line because without an offensive line, you can't protect the quarterback. Can't run the football. He's not going to get it out. He's never going to develop. You're basically shit in the bed. So, to get an offensive lineman, it's great because a lot of teams need them. The Giants signed some O linemen. They made some good enhancements. They got a quarterback, so they're building somewhere. But the Jets also need a cornerback because they have not gone that route. So, I don't know. Sterling Moore is available out of New Orleans. I don't know if he's anything to write home about. Brandon Flowers is still out there. He's done well in the league over the years. I don't know Sharice Wright, but he's from Baltimore. This is just my team, but there's a lot of players still available. I mean, we're only barely a week in, and so many guys have signed, but there's still a lot of names out there. And this is what it's about now. I feel like after that first flurry, right, from Thursday to Sunday, and it's just going to be a little slow trickle till the draft. Slow trickle. Because there's no reason to rush anymore. You got to rush in the beginning because you're going to lose out. But now, you work your magic, and you work it towards the draft, with the draft in mind in April. Which leaves us as fans, like, on pins and needles. I want to check this tracker and be like, ooh, somebody sign? Ooh, did somebody sign? Yeah, but the flurry's over, so now it's just like maybe you get one signing a day. Like today we got Eddie Lacy signing. There's some linebackers available. The Jets have been rumored for Dante Hightower. I'd love if they could snatch him up. They could use another good middle linebacker presence, solidify the defense. They need to sign one more player of note. I do say so. And people are making a big deal out of what the Patriots have done. I mean, bringing in Brandon Cooks is a good move, but I don't feel like anything you do in free agency really pushes you, quote, over the top. The Patriots were always already on top, but I haven't been quite as impressed with them. I was impressed with the Texans because they shed that massive contract, but unless they bring in a Romo or somebody, unless they land Romo, they're kind of in trouble. Because who's going to quarterback them next season? There's Cutler and Kaepernick and RG3, and none of those names are really more appealing than Osweiler, who you already had. They will be less expensive. But the Texans are interesting because they were a playoff team. They won their division. They got a good defense. But now they don't have a quarterback. At least, I mean, they didn't, some would say they didn't have one before. But now they really don't have one. And there's other teams that need them, and Denver really would love to steal Tony Romo from Houston, and I mean it's very, very possible. But there's still I'm more interested in the running back carousel because so many running backs, like from a fantasy football perspective, like you have no idea what running back's going to be good. It really has to do with the position and the situation. So like some of these guys could have monster seasons next year, or be completely, like, you would never even remember that they were even in the league because they just disappear on the roster. So whoever lands in Oakland, that's a fantasy player to keep an eye on. But okay, I'm going to switch gears here today for the last several minutes of this live stream because I've talked myself in circles in the NFL and hypothesized, but ultimately I'm not in a position to break news. So, as sports fans, you know it's March Madness. It is March Madness. And there is a game going on right now, tied at 51 apiece with 9 minutes left in the second. This is one of the play-in games, the 2-16 seeds. Now, I don't know if this was a change this year because perhaps I was just not paying attention last year or the year before, but I thought the play-in games were all for the 16 seeds. So 15, maybe there were 15 or 16 seeds. This year, 2 of the play-in games are for 16 seeds, and the other 2 are for an 11. Now, in what universe do these 11 seeds have to play in when the other 16 doesn't? Why don't the 11s get in? Because they earned it. Like freaking USC versus Providence. Those teams should be in the first round, not be playing into the first round. And then you got 2 16 seeds and 4 15 seeds that are just in the first round. Now, granted, 15s and 16s generally lose the first round, and maybe they wanted to just drum up. I understand they're drumming up interest for these first 2 game nights, Tuesday, Wednesday. USC versus Providence is actually a fun matchup, but you don't get to pick it in your pool because if they don't make the play-in, like, who wants to pick the winner of USC Providence to win the first round? I don't. I would like to pick USC or Providence, but not the winner of that game to beat their opponent, which I have to bring the bracket up. I'm missing it here. I don't like. I know why they did it, but it seems to me that 11 is too high of a seed to have to be a play-in game. And personally, as a Los Angeles native, it sucks that USC is playing in. Now, I hope they beat Providence, and then the problem solved itself. But really? Really? Now, the number 1 seeds are interesting. Villanova, Kansas, Gonzaga, UNC. The top 10 in the country really has stood out over the season, but I saw the numbers. One number 1 seed always makes the Final Four, but I think in the last 10 years, only 1 year did no number 1s make it. But only once did 3. Almost always it's only 1. So if you're picking your bracket and you pick more than one number 1 in the Final Four, you are going to be wrong. So I looked towards the 2s, 3s, and 4s for my Elite 8 Final Four teams because I really wanted to play the numbers and push the envelope. And I like Gonzaga a lot. I put them in my Final Four. Something tells me UNC, Villanova, Kansas, they're going to come up a little short. Personally, now, I live in Los Angeles, so if I have insider information or I just want it more, but I picked UCLA. They're a 3rd seed. They looked very, very good this season, and they got that guy. What the frick, his name? His father's like making waves. Hall or something like his dad's like a bigger personality than himself, but regardless of the fact, I picked UCLA to go all the way. That's a 3 seed. It's a solid pick because it's not as common as picking a number 1 to win it. Now a lot of people are going to be picking Duke because they're a 2 and Duke looks really good. That's a decent pick. I liked the Blue Devils to get eliminated along the way. But March Madness starts Thursday. This is awesome. My brother and I are writing our NFL sports debate in the vein of March Madness to celebrate all week long on NFLSpinZone.com. You can find it at the Dan Salem on Facebook. All my posts today, we had our first NFL Free Agency March Madness bracket. Tomorrow and Thursday, we will have another NFL Free Agency March Madness bracket. And it's fun to compete and see which moves of the NFL offseason are the best moves of all. I love March Madness because brackets rule, and brackets are just fun to pick and pick a winner. All right, guys. Baseball season's still a little bit away. Basketball season's kind of dragging on. Teams are getting hurt. Spurs caught the Warriors. Clippers, I don't know if they've really changed positions. No, they have not. Still in the 4-5 spot. Still playing the Utah Jazz first round. I will be back next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, live on YouTube. BuzzChomp on YouTube, at The Dan Salem on Facebook live streaming to you about the NFL and sports from my new home, still in Los Angeles, still in the 90049, but the background and surroundings of this beautiful live stream will change next week. I'm updating for you guys. You're going to love it. I'm Dan Salem, at The Dan Salem on Facebook, on Twitter, Google+, and over on YouTube, BuzzChomp, Pillow Talk TV. I will be back next week. Thank you guys for joining me. You are an amazing audience. Send me your questions, comments all week long, and I will address them live on the air. Peace.